Hello guys and welcome back to Star Wars The Old Republic Central, and today I am bringing you a Dread Fortress story mode walkthrough. Enjoy. Okay guys, so Nefra story mode is a pretty easy fight. You want your tanks to be stood at the stairs and make sure that they are stood as close to each other as possible. They will see little green circles underneath them. When those green circles are underneath both the tanks, then you know that they are stood in the correct place, because Nefra will direct damage towards both the tanks. They will share the damage coming from Nefra. The healers and the DPS in this fight should always be stood behind Nefra. This is always good practice as well for hard mode and nightmare later on. But for story mode, just make sure that everybody is stacked up behind the boss. And the last thing for this fight, guys, is the droid that spawns during the fight. The droid spawns throughout the fight, and it is going to run into the group and commit suicide. It's going to explode. It's going to place a large red AoE underneath it. Should be fairly visible for the group, so they should be able to see it. It's going to spawn from this location where the arrow is pointing to you on screen, so just watch out for that and make sure your group is ready to move when needed. Here is a video of the actual fight so you can see what it should look like when you're doing it. Gate Commander Draxus. Okay guys, this fight is pretty easy, so I'm just going to talk you through it. First off, by assigning one tank to the boss. He's going to tank the boss and keep him faced away from the group. When Draxus reaches a certain amount of HP, he's going to disappear and SWTORs are going to spawn from all around the room. The best method to use, guys, is to AoE taunt them with the tanks and just AoE nuke them down. In wave 2, there's going to be 2 dispatchers at either side of the room, as well as SWTORs. Just kill them as they come, and all will be fine. It's a pretty easy wave, so do not worry too much, as the dispatchers do not deal a lot of damage. Draxus will be present in wave 3, so make sure your tank assigned to Draxus is back on Draxus, tanking him and keeping him faced away. In wave 3, there's going to be 2 dispatchers at either side of the room and 1 corruptor at either side of the room. Make sure your DPS are taking care of those corruptors as soon as possible to stop their cast. In wave 4, there are going to be 2 dismantlers, one at either side of the room. They use an ability called Strong Swipe. When they use this ability on a DPS or anyone besides from a tank has to be quick at taunting the dismantler, otherwise anybody who is hit with the Strong Swipe is going to be one shot killed by the dismantler in the next hit. In wave 5, there's going to be a corruptor in the south with Bulwark. This is going to be your priority, so make sure your DPS are there taking care of the corruptor. The rest of the adds up in this wave are not too much to worry about, and just heal through it and DPS them as they come. Again, the dispatchers do not deal a lot of damage and can be dealt with when needed. Okay, in wave 6 there's going to be a corruptor on the south side again, as well as 2 dismantlers spawning from either side of the room. There's also going to be a despoiler. The despoiler will heal the corruptors, so you can nuke the despoiler first if you wish to, but usually the dismantlers and the corruptor are going to be your main priority. In wave 7, there is going to be 2 guardians spawn, as well as some SWTORs. Have the tanks take a guardian each. This is usually a lot more coordinated when the operation is your level. In wave 8, there is going to be 2 corruptors on the left and the right. Make sure the corruptors are killed ASAP and interrupted when needed. Leave the bulwarks till last. There are 2 ways that you can complete wave 9. You can nuke down Draxus and win the fight, but the adds will still be there. So if the adds kill you, you have still won the fight and can proceed to the next boss. Or you can decide to kill the adds first and then Draxus. Either way, it doesn't really matter. This wave is just pretty much the same as wave 7, just with Draxus present in the fight. Boss number 3, Grobfok, who feeds the forge. Okay guys, this boss is actually pretty easy. Although I am not the most perfect tank at this, as you will see during the video, the tactics or mechanics are fairly simple. All you need to do is pull Grobfok into the magnet that you can see patrolling the room whenever he casts the ability Pipe Smash. In story mode, it's not too much trouble if he repeatedly uses Pipe Smash, although it does give him a massive damage reduction, meaning your DPS will pretty much do no damage until he is in that magnet while using Pipe Smash. So the main objective to this fight, guys, is to basically just get him into that magnet when he's... Usually the best way to go about doing this fight is to assign 1 tank to the boss, 1 tank to the adds, and making sure that the DPS and healers know that if they get a mining droid on them, then they need to move away from the group. Because when you have a mining droid, it's going to keep dropping lava underneath you, and the longer you are stood in that lava, the more damage you will take from it. Corruptor 0. Okay, so the start of the fight is just going to be a bunch of adds. Make sure your DPS kill the repair droids first, as they will heal all the other adds. Once this first set of adds are destroyed, Corruptor 0 will spawn in the middle of the room. It's usually best if the tank sits at one of the pillars in the room, like you can see me here, then taunts Corruptor 0 to bring him to the tank. Tanking Corruptor 0 in this location is usually ideal. This boss fight does not require a tank swap, so having 1 tank stay on the boss and the other tank go for the adds is usually the best thing to do. Whenever you see Corruptor 0 using the ability Anti-Gravity Field, it is important to run out of the AoE, otherwise you will see your character get lifted and then thrown by Corruptor 0. When Corruptor 0 does this missile barrage type attack, it is important for the group to spread out. as the closer you are together, the more damage you are going to share. When Corrupt to Zero gets to around 30% HP, he's going to jump, and when he jumps he's going to land at a random location in the room. The best way to identify where he's going to land is to have your minimap zoomed all the way out and look for the red dot, and then move accordingly. If you encounter the bug where you cannot see Corrupt to Zero, then pivot your camera so you are facing the sky. This usually corrects the issue. The reason why you should move is because he casts a huge laser beam in the direction that he's facing, so it's important to be out of his line of sight. Once Corrupt Zero is done jumping around the room, it is just a tank and spank fight. Just have the tank taunt him and keep him away from the group while the DPS kill the boss, and it's as easy as that. Dreadmaster Bronzes. Okay, so at the start of this fight there's going to be 2 hands spawn as well as several fingers. The fingers are a must for the DPS, they need to be killed as soon as possible. Each hand must be tanked by each tank. They must face them away from the group to stop the slam from coning the raid. It doesn't matter which order you DPS each hand down in story mode, this first phase will go very well so long as the DPS are killing the fingers. The next phase is going to be the lightning fingers. Lightning fingers are going to pop up around the room depending on where a player is standing, so it is usually best for the group to stand together and move around the room as a unit. Being caught in the lightning is going to one-hit kill you. After this phase, Dreadmaster Bronzes is going to spawn in the middle of the room. No tank swap required in story mode, so it is ideal for one tank to take Bronzes while the other tank takes the Kephis clone that spawns from the east, west and south of the room. Here is a classic example of where a DPS should not be standing during the Bronzes phase. Healers and DPS should always be stood behind Bronzes. After this phase, Bronzes is going to channel a lightning beam around the room clockwise. There will be droid adds around the room, which must be destroyed as you go. If the lightning beam hits a droid that is alive, the droid is going to explode and deal a massive amount of damage to the raid. In story mode this isn't a big deal with the first droid. In hard mode and higher, it will one hit kill the entire raid. Okay, so the next phase, there is going to be one hand at either side of the room, as well as 6 fingers in the middle. In story mode, the DPS do not need to be assigned to fingers, so long as the fingers are being killed as soon as possible by the DPS, then this phase will go very smoothly. The tanks, however, will need to tank an individual hand each, and keep them faced away from the raid. There will be a big blue cone AoE so they can see where they need to aim the hand. Once the fingers have been killed, the DPS should focus on the hands. Once the hands have been killed, you will initiate the last phase. In story mode, the last phase is pretty easy. Just wait until Bronzes' shields comes down, and then burn her. It is usually easier to get Bronzes in a corner. If she's in a corner, then the chances are she's just going to throw people continuously into the corner, and that way not be running around the room, making it harder to DPS her. Usually the best way to do this is to just have the tanks spam their taunts in the direction that they want her to go. Otherwise, just keep DPSing her until she is dead. Okay guys, this has been my first operation guide. Please let me know what you thought down in the comment section below. If there's anything you think I should improve or any suggestions for the next video. If there's an operation that you'd like me to make a guide for, then please let me know. Okay guys, that's my time. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.